Hi, folks. I'm so grateful for you all to be here. I see Poured with Love, which is Buffy. And holy cow, Buffy, I'm pretty impressed with the screen name Poured with Love and how you managed to take a 5 letter name and turn it into 3 or 4 words. That's a lot. But Buffy, it is a wonderful story. And it's wonderful the way that you shared the story. It really is. It is. We don't have. I'm pretty sure this is our first story that addresses endocarditis, and it's really an important topic because it isn't something that gets a lot of attention, and it is one of those simple, obvious, basic hazards of intravenous drug use. And so it's spectacular to have a story that addresses that on our channel. So we're grateful for that. I see we have Tristan here. We have not Tristan, of course, but we have Lisa here. Offensive. Okay. I can think of right off the bat, right off the top of my head, I can think of 3 people that would be representative of a screen name that says offensive corporation. There's there's 3 of them. Actually 4, and 3 of them are storytellers. So, uh, offensive corporation, who the hell are you? Which one are you? Are you one of our storytellers? Are you another member of Offensive? Offensive is an awesome organization. It is really an awesome organization. I can't say enough about the wonderful things that the organization has done to help people that are struggling with addiction, homeless people, creating these environment. Brad. Well, of course it's Brad because Brad seems like one of those guys who never sleeps or does anything ridiculously self-absorbed like that. So, gosh, so glad you're here, Brad. Really glad you're here, and your organization. It's really a spectacular thing, the kind of thing that you guys do for people that are dealing with addiction and homelessness and all of that. So, Miss Kim, MC Clay is what really, Lisa? What are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. So Brad says thanks, brother. You know you guys really. I feel like offensive merits a whole in-depth story on our channel that's just about your organization. And it's such a weird spot where I'm at where I want to do that. It's just a challenge. Right now, we probably have about 40 stories that are interviews we've recorded. I say we because I have this imaginary friend in my pocket. But there's about 40 stories that are interviews we've recorded that we just haven't found the time to edit yet. And so we're working on it, and we're working on it as fast as we can. It's a pretty sweet spot to be in this area, to be in this position where we get to talk to so many wonderful people and bring their stories to other people. But God, there are so many stories, you know? There's so many stories. So let me get back to this. Okay, Offensive Corporation. There's Rudy, Gabby, Heather, Buffy, Kim, and I, which is Brad, are all offensive storytellers. That's that's awesome. That really is ridiculous. It chokes me up. And then there's Hammer. Hammer's here. Hammer is from Jayla's Voice, and Hammer also is a storyteller from Pensacola. And awesome for Hammer to be here. And Lisa is here, and it's kind of hard to recognize Lisa because her screen name doesn't say Lisa; it says Tristan. And I'm personally convinced that the primary reason why she does it that way is just to keep me confused just a little bit, and that's okay. Pensacola, Florida, Kim, MC Clay as a group offensive, and she was at the Wiggins, Mississippi event as a storyteller. Kim McClay. Kim, is that the one? Is Kim the one who is Kim the one who showed up in Pensacola and we had already packed up? Is that right? Because her story is already with one of our editors and should be a story in our series very soon. Yes, I know. I know, Lisa. Everything is Tristan. And that's awesome. I'm just giving you grief because that's what I do. I mean, why not? How do I let that go? Because there's nothing in your screen name on YouTube that identifies that you're Lisa, but that's okay. Kimberly McClay, yes, tall woman. You showed up when we were finishing packing up in Pensacola at Hellcat Hangar Studios, which is an awesome place. While I bring them up, I can't say enough about what an awesome place that is, and how much I have learned from Hellcat Hangar just in the course of the couple of times I spent a couple of days there shooting stories. The guy who is high commander at Hellcat Hangar, brilliantly sharp guy whose name completely escapes me. I could look at my wallet and maybe find his business card, but then again, maybe not. But a very sharp guy. And from him, I learned things like how to use this software that we're using right now to do this to do this live event, to have this setup where the audio is filtered enough to block out a lot of the ambient noise that's in the environment that we're in, and do some additional processing to kind of level out the audio levels and stuff like that. And it also creates this opportunity to have this it's called the lower third. You see this thing that's got my name on it. That's like right down here on the screen. It's got my name and it says director, Texas Pictures, and all of that. That's all possible because of the software that we're using that the guys at Hellcat Hangar explained to me was available and useful for doing live events. And so, because of that, we have these extra features when we do this. And so, we can make my name go away. That's probably not any more impressive to you than it is to me. But the fact that we have that kind of power, and maybe some of you guys have seen some of the other events that we've done where we have a live event where there's a storyteller in talking to me live in a two window kind of layout, and that's all possible because of the software that, that they made me aware of that I didn't know existed until the folks at Hellcat Hangar in Pensacola, Florida made me aware of, and we were able to improve what we're capable of doing when we do these live events. So I can't say enough about the Hellcat Hangar people. So I feel like I've rambled on substantially about Hellcat Hangar people and not much else. So there is Hammer Davis is with us, and Tristan Kim McClay. If I remember right, Kim, you're the one who showed up when we were packing up. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. And so I remember when you showed up in Wiggins, Mississippi, and seeing you there and being so elated that you were there. So absolutely elated that you had found the way. You had found a reason, a pathway to get you to Wiggins, Mississippi. Wiggins, Mississippi. That's really a place. But it was an awesome place. Really. So in Wiggins, Mississippi, I want to give a shout out to the restaurant in Wiggins, Mississippi that I had dinner with a friend from high school with in Steagles or something like that is in downtown Wiggins. And I can't say enough about what an awesome restaurant that was. And anybody, if anyone, Lisa, anyone else who is in Wiggins who can tell me the name of the restaurant, because I would love to credit them specifically because it was truly awesome. The restaurant actually contacted me the next day after me and my wife and my friend from high school, his name is Sean, and his wife, the four of us had dinner there. We had a wonderful dinner. We rambled on and hung out at the table, and we were probably there close to 2 hours and had a great time at this restaurant. And the most impressive thing about it was the next day, the next day, a manager from the restaurant called me, uh, called me and said, "Thank you for being here. And we hope you were happy with your dining experience. And if there's anything that you'd like to make us aware of, or what," they called me. They called me. Me. Just a wonderful, wonderful restaurant. I don't know how to say enough about it, but I want to really identify them by name. So, Offensive says Kim McClay told Andrew's story. Yeah, she did. Yeah. And Hammer Davis is glad to be here. Love my family over at Camp O. These guys are complete rock stars. Holy cow, they are. They are. We really need you offensive folks. Uh, we need to figure out how to do something about offensive on our channel that makes use of that really kind of makes use of our audience to create more exposure for offensive and for what you guys are doing, because what you guys are doing is genuinely impressive. It's vitally important. It's so humane. It's so critical to the livelihood of so many people that I think that we really should have something on our channel that highlights the depth and the breadth of what you guys are doing. And, I also feel like if we can sort something out that gets, particularly that gets Brad back on our channel, that gets Brad like in a live event where it's me and Brad in this kind of two window thing, right? Then that'll give me a new opportunity to give Brad a hard time. And that's a good time to me. And that's going to be important to me. So. Anyway, Poured with Love says, oh, hell. My gosh, I'm so far behind. Poured with Love says, that worked out so well. And Tristan Shoemake, which is Lisa Shoemake, says, uh, it's a happy face and a heart. And Hammer, I don't see you and your family at my. Oh, Kimberly said, I didn't see you and your family at my event today. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't make it. I know I that evidently Hammer didn't make it, but I know that Hammer's got a lot going on. Hammer is on it like Oprah on a baked ham. He's on it like a rat on a Cheeto. He's on it like Biden on a flight of stairs. So he's on it. Hammer has a lot going on. Hammer is one of those everyday hero kind of people who just keeps finding reasons to make noise that will save lives. And that's such a big deal. So Tristan, my hope event was powerful. I did an interview with News Media 5. Okay, Kimberly, I guess News Media 5 is a good thing, right? It's a local network for where you're at. That's a victory. That's a giant victory because that's exposure. That brings attention through news media. That brings this great attention to this topic that you're focused on. And so it's a giant deal. Getting to do an interview, getting to be in front of the tens of thousands of people, maybe millions of people that are members of this channel's audience, that is a victory. That's a big, big victory. Lisa says, Kim, that's awesome. Send me the link. Yeah, because sharing things is a big deal. It's so important to share these events, to let other people know when you have, if you do an interview with local news media, sharing a link to that interview, to that news story on Facebook or Twitter or whatever else Getting that extra exposure helps spread the word, helps increase awareness, and helps save lives. It's really such a simple thing. It's such an easy way to save lives. All right. So there's the idiot dogs. I'm sorry. I said idiot dogs. That wasn't nice because that's redundant. Anyway, but I'm pretty sure that the dogs mean that there's a pretty good chance that my wife is home, which that's awesome. I'm not home. My wife has arrived at Texas Pictures World headquarters. That's not home. That's Texas Pictures World headquarters. All right. So anyway, where was I? So Tristan, my Hope event was okay. Kim, that's awesome. Send me the link. I heard endocarditis is more deadly to women than men. All right, Lisa, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was pretty wonderful to get to share a story with our audience that addresses endocarditis, but I don't know if endocarditis is more common among women than men. I know it's got to be a terrible, painful kind of an experience to go through that. Hammer says she didn't show up late. I completely dropped the ball. All the blame goes on me with her story. No excuses. So now, you know, we used the opportunity to wrap up a little bit early so that we could get on the road to our next destination in Florida. And so, really, I'm the one. I'm the villain here, and it is wonderful. It's wonderful that she came to Mississippi to share her story in an environment where we had more time, and and holy cow, I don't know how to share just how awesome of an event the thing in Mississippi was, the thing that Lisa Shoemake made happen. It's awesome. In fact, I am gonna I am gonna make this a thing because I'm gonna let you folks know. Why don't I see it? Come on. All right. So I want you folks to know how awesome the thing in Mississippi was. So just bear with me for a minute while I figure out how best to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this doesn't look right at all. Live streaming. No, I don't think that's it. Nope, that ain't it at all. That ain't it at all. Maybe this? No, that's Huey too. This is killing me. Okay, so queso. That sounds good. You guys like Mexican food? Sorry, I didn't mean to deviate like that. All right, we're gonna try this one more time. I want to share with you guys some of the pictures from the event. Look at that. Okay, we'll just do that. All right. So the event that happened in Wiggins, Mississippi. This is small town Mississippi. Yet we had very much a big town event. There was just it was truly awesome. And so, huh, yeah, I'm really trying to work out how to make this look right. And so I'm learning more. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And so we had this event. The event was at a uh, Hampton Inn in Wiggins, Mississippi, and they were such awesome hosts. And so we had this environment where storytellers got to hang out while they waited on me to catch up and visit with each other, bond with each other, share their grief, share their struggles, and share their victories in this environment that was just, it was so full of love. So here's one of our storytellers seated. For those of you there has been some commenters who have said that we need to work harder to make sure that there are tissues available for the storytellers. And I want to point out to everybody there's tissues available. There is always tissues available there that just because they're available, now that doesn't mean they're going to use them, but they're there. And so this is one of our storytellers. Her name escapes me at the moment, but she's wonderful, very friendly. Here is this is the kitchen area at the Hampton Inn where there was pizzas and fried chicken and all kinds of wonderful other foods available. And this is the kind of a dining slash lobby area. And we actually have a banner that says "Welcome Texas Pictures" and all of that. And what's funny to me about that is that I make so many jokes about whenever I get into town at a place where we're having a storytelling summit, I'll contact the local event coordinator and I will tell the event coordinator, yeah, I'm in town. I kind of thought there'd be some sort of uh, whatever city welcomes Texas Pictures banner stretched across the freeway, but whatever. And so here we had an actual banner, and so that was cool. So here's another storyteller seated in the same environment. There's our typical black background and a microphone on a boom, a reflector, and you can see the edge of the light in the corner. Here's an interview that I did with a reporter from a station in Gulfport, Mississippi, Biloxi, whatever the market is there. But this guy, I forget his name, but he was very thorough. He actually spent 2 days with us shooting interviews himself with some of our storytellers. It was wonderful. I learned from talking to this guy. So that was cool as well. What else can I share with you guys? Here's another angle of me talking to the guy doing the interview. Whatever his name was, it escapes me, but there you go. And here's the lobby environment where we had the food, and there was also these wonderful displays that had to do with lost loved ones and fentanyl. It was just a very powerful, important kind of event all the way around. And you see here we had plenty of diabetes based snacks. At the event, we had cake and we had pie and we had cupcakes and candy and cookies and all this wonderful stuff. It was really this outpouring from the community, from this small. I don't know how to describe the community other than being a loving kind of community who donated all of these things for this event, for this podunk little production company out of Houston that came to their town. It's pretty awesome. So there's the pizza, and holy cow, you guys see the fried chicken, right? Right? There's a boatload of fried chicken right over here. You see that? That's pretty awesome. And I don't know what else is there, but I remember these crackers that one of the one of the people participating in the event made these crackers that holy cow, they were insanely good. And here is the environment from another angle with the chicken and the pizza and the desserts and snacks and all of that. It was a wonderful festive kind of environment all the way around. I can't say enough about how wonderful every minute was at the Hampton Inn during this event. And so I see that Tristan, not Tristan, but Lisa says Stagel Steakhouse, and yeah, that's the restaurant. Those guys were awesome. At it's a steakhouse. It's very much a high end kind of place. It was a steakhouse. They had seafood, and they very much. It was not a. I don't know how to say this right. But it was a genuinely high end environment, not not just a high end environment for Wiggins, Mississippi, but a high end environment. Period. And when I say a high end environment for Wiggins, Mississippi, I'm not being critical of Wiggins. Wiggins was awesome all the way down the road. There was everything about being in Wiggins was an awesome experience. It really, really was. I can't say enough. So I see. Anyway, let me catch up. Hammer says she didn't show up late. I completely dropped. Yeah, we talked about that. Hammer, you did not drop the ball. I could have set things back up. I could have, but uh, it was a very ambitious schedule all the way around. And so it we got everything done. We have all the content that we need for the story, so we're in a good place. At Stagel Steakhouse. Okay, so the way I found out about Stagel Steakhouse is that when I got into town in Wiggins, Mississippi, I just looked for a place that had food. And what I found was a like a bar and grill. It was in downtown Wiggins and very nice place, very limited menu, but who cares? You know, good food. I had some sort of steak thing. That not like a ground beef steak thing, like a hamburger without the bun kind of steak thing, kind of beef thing. That's the way to put it, I suppose. And it was wonderful. And the guy behind the bar, he was he was very pleasant, positive, easy to talk to. And I asked him because I had this friend coming into town from high school, and so we were gonna figure out someplace Wow. Look at that. Unplugged. Okay, so man, that's annoying. So we were gonna go. So he's coming into town, and we're gonna go somewhere. So I asked the guy behind the bar if he had any recommendations for a place where we could have a good sit down meal that lasted a while and just a good dining experience. And he said, "Yeah, it's next door. It's next door." And next door was Stiegel's Steakhouse, and it was wonderful. Really was. It really was wonderful. And then they called me the next day to make sure everything was good. How awesome is that? I am ready to go back to Wiggins anytime. It was that awesome. All right, so you're welcome. Let's see where we're at. Thank you so much. I'm glad you got a 10. Tristan, which is Lisa. Actually, glad you didn't because Kim got to come to our event in Mississippi, and her and I are still friends. Yeah, Kim's pretty awesome. It was so I don't know. It was exciting to me. It really lifted my heart to see Kim in Wiggins. Brad saying, "What did you all sell, Kimberly? We didn't sell her stuff, Brad. Holy cow, we're being responsible. What's in my cup? It's still just coffee. It is just coffee. It is espresso. Actually, it is. It's what's left of an Americano, which is a double shot of espresso and water. And yeah, good stuff." And so I see that Lisa says Wiggins is a small community. Holy cow, let's state the obvious. Wow. But here's the thing about Wiggins. Wiggins is a big enough community that the guy from the TV station, he drove there 2 days in a row to do content related to what we're working on. Kimberly says taco salad and catfish and cheeseburgers. Well, all those things sound awesome, don't they? In fact, I'm a little bit hungry now, and I see that my phone is making noise at me. Something like this. It ruins you. Isabella 16. Oh my goodness. Brad, Folgers? Really? Folgers is adequate, but I wouldn't qualify it as any sort of you really I need Folgers. No. 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 I think I might need a bib. No. Mm-mm. Folgers is fine, but Folgers is not some sort of saving grace. Ah, goodness. Okay, so anyway, oh, queso. Okay, Mexican food. There you go, queso. That's good too. But that's a whole other story. I didn't mean to get off on that tangent. Yep, that was a big deal for the reporter to come 2 days in a row. Yeah, I thought so. And the reporter really seemed to be pretty savvy. He wasn't just, I mean, he wasn't just a goofy kid. He wasn't just someone who is so elated to be in a position where he's a reporter at a major market or a semi-major market or whatever it was. I mean, he was in the I don't know. Maybe. Oh, Brad, the Maxwell House. Gosh, Maxwell House. Really, Brad? Is that is that the best you can do? Holy cow! My coffee, my coffee has this. Well, it's double espresso from. I think the coffee company is called Seattle's Best, freshly ground, and water, which is it's really very close to just regular coffee, except everything is pretty much as fresh as it can be. Anyway, as incredible fitness awareness event. Christopher Gillis. Folgers is last resort if absolutely necessary. Yeah. Yeah, that's reasonable. I can yeah. Yeah. It's what you got. It's what you got. It's better than water. And it's better than something that's instant. So there's that. So there you go. But wherever your name went, I appear it appears that I've lost it now. But Christopher Gillis, I don't think I've seen your name in our live events before. So welcome. Thank you for being a part of this. My favorite is a great value brand coffee. Oh, wow. Carla, with that one sentence, the amount of rings, the amount of rungs that you drop down in my head with that one sentence. Ba, 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 ba. Saying whatever you said. My favorite is the Great Value brand coffee, which is what? What is it? That's like Walmart brand or something? Because you know what kind of commitment they have to quality and flavor and all that. Gosh, Carla, I think I'm going to need a tissue. Carla hates coffee. Clearly, if your favorite is whatever you said, then there's no reason not to hate coffee. So, but I feel like I'm way behind on comments here. So let me try to catch up on those. We've been here 45 minutes, it looks like. And I don't feel like I've had much to say that's been substantial, but I am so grateful that you folks are here. I really am. I haven't seen Brenda. I hope Brenda is here. It'd be great for Brenda to just be here trolling or whatever. That's fine. Very easy. I've always enjoyed iced tea, says Kimberly. Ew. But okay. And Lisa says Noah Nicole's Noah Noah Nobles, WHOX, is who came. And nice guy. I got to spend a little while talking with him just out in the parking lot, just talking to media guys. And it was most definitely a good time. I learned from talking to him. And that was way cool. Really way cool. Way cool that he was there. And so, and of course, Brad says we have a self cleaning cup, and yes, yes, we do have a self cleaning cup. It is available on our store. It's ridiculously pricey, but it's self cleaning. I mean, I have gone months without washing this cup, and I don't know if you look in it, it looks completely clean. How awesome is that? So, sometimes it tastes a little chunky, but you know, that's good. Never see any dirt. Look at that. There's nothing. Nothing. No dirt. It's totally clean inside. It's self-cleaning, and that's why it's so expensive on our store. That's it. And so, it works the same way. It's the same principle as wearing black underwear, I think. But it worked great. It's awesome. So, let's see. Self-cleaning. Carla says I'm joking. Carla, Carla, I can tell you this, Carla. It warms my heart to see you here every time you're here. It really does. It is. I see your name show up in the list that I watch and that I make all my comments toward, and it always lightens my heart to see your name in the list. And I feel this. It's not feeling like I want to hug you. It's feeling like I am hugging you. So I'm grateful for seeing you here every time you're here. Brad says Dr. Pepper or Dr. Thunder. Well, golly, I don't know what that is. That is like saying real or fake, isn't it? So whatever works for you, Brad. Carla says no. If I'm going to drink coffee, it's going to be pumpkin spice latte. Wow, I am going to need a bucket after reading that out loud. Pumpkin spice. Pumpkin. Pumpkins are orange. What is wrong with you people? Pumpkins are orange. How can that be a good thing? Yeah. Okay. All right. I might need something. I don't know, a bucket or something. Yuck. Pumpkin. Oh my God. So, anyway, if I'm going to drink coffee, it's going to be pumpkin. That is not coffee. That's some pumpkin flavored, sugar based nonsense. That is not coffee. Yuck. Ugh. Carla says, "Hi, Brenda." So Brenda's here. Brenda's here. Brenda is here. Carla, I'm lurking while I finish a rough draft I should have done 3 weeks ago. A rough draft. So you're working on something with a message, it sounds like, right, Brenda? That's awesome. Kimberly says iced tea again. Yay, iced tea. Iced tea. Yeah. Gosh. Kim, congrats. I wish the news media's coverage you go girl. Brad says, how do I deal with Carla always saying these things? Brad, I'm happy to talk with you about that anytime. Not not that I really have any answers, but holy cow, I care about Carla, and I just want to help. And so I think that I think there's a little bit of comfort in the fact that she talks about them, as opposed to quietly saying nothing. But aside from that, I I don't know. I don't have any great, easy, sharp, insightful answers. But I'm glad to talk with you about any type, Brad. You're welcome to give me a call. You've got my number, and you're welcome to give me a call, shoot me a text, reach out to me on Facebook, whatever. And I'm glad to talk with you about it, and maybe we could conspire together to do something to help Carla, ambush her or whatever, But we love you, Carla. So, you've seen it on News Media 5 tonight. No, I haven't seen it yet, but Brenda says, Carla, I thought of you when Buffy was stating it was a good thing she was pregnant and when she lost Hunter, or she may have harmed, Brenda, I had the same experience. I thought of Carla. So poured with love, which is Buffy. Sometimes, okay, just give me a minute here. Sometimes this name stuff makes me nuts. I don't keep it straight the way I should, but I try to. Okay, so Lisa says, I think we have to remember that if you want to see our babies again in heaven, then we have to live the rest of our lives, the rest of this life, the best way we can, how God and our children would want us to. That's wonderful, Lisa. That's wonderful, and that's completely on target. There's there's a there's a song like from the 50s where, oh, where has my baby gone? Where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. She's gone to heaven, so I've got to be good so I can see my baby when I leave this world. That's a song from the 50s. Now, I'm not singing it, but you know the song I'm talking about. Surely you guys know. Brad says, I wish I was Brenda. Hmm. Brad, I would think that you are counting backwards from 1 million every time Carla breaks your heart with the pain her heart is enduring. Thanks for being the perfect Carla daddy. The Carla daddy. Wow. Gosh, Brenda, that's right up there with the whole what you take for granted other people are praying for thing. That's brilliant. The perfect Carla daddy. She's right. You are. Really, Brad, you are. You're on the job. You are on the job like Biden on a flight of stairs. Brad says, I wish I was Brenda. And yeah, Brad, there is surgery. Okay. Kimberly says we need to educate and teach our children when they are young. We do, but our idea of when they're young, I think we underestimate what young is. That young, I think is 3, 4, 5 years old, 6 years old. There's an opportunity even that young to have an impact on how they guide their future, what their moral compass leads them to do. Brad says, I wish I was the best father. Brad, you probably are. Really, Brad, you probably are. You got to realize how many, seriously, Brad, listen to me here. You got to realize how many beautiful jokes I'm letting go to make the point that you're doing a really good job. And you are. Carla's enduring this terrible pain, but she is enduring it. And gosh, Brad, it's so much more fun to make jokes about you getting the surgery. Now I'm working on my workshop for next month. And Kimberly, it looks pretty likely that we're going to wind up somewhere in Tennessee next month. It may not be Memphis. It may be uh, Chattanooga. I don't know. But we could be doing stories in Tennessee. There's stories in Tennessee right now. The big ones that are likely to get us in Tennessee are a couple of stories that involve cannabis and how cannabis has been an impactful positive treatment for cancer. So we're going to explore that. April Smith. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Well, gosh, April, sorry didn't do it. You should have been here earlier. You missed all the good stuff. Hey, we have been here over an hour and we're actually about to wrap it up now. Gosh, so there's Brenda's cue to say to everyone to remember that what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. That's such an awesome message. So, anyway, April says, So awesome. Please link where in Tennessee. I've got families up there that will speak with you, Glenn. I don't know where in Tennessee. Tennessee's this weird stick shaped kind of state. It could be near Memphis. One of the connections that's drawing us there is because of uh, St. Jude's Hospital, which I think is in Memphis. But wherever that is, we're kind of likely to be close to that. So April says, so awesome. Please link. Okay, I read that. Brad says, Carla was here last night and her three kids were singing karaoke, and Carla pretty much cried the whole time. Gee, Brad. Okay, that's tough, but I can understand that uh, from Carla's perspective. Imagine watching the other three kids having such a great time singing karaoke, and punishing everyone else in the room. But for Carla to sit there and watch everyone else be in this close kind of moment, and to have someone who's missing, that's got to be pretty tough. Yeah, St. Jude is in Memphis, and I think that hospital is the connection. But it's a weird kind of set of stories. They're not they're not about fentanyl. It's other stories. But while we're wherever we are, we don't pick and choose the topics. When we have a storytelling summit, it's open to any topic that we address. So we may do a fentanyl story followed by a cannabis story followed by a human trafficking story followed by an addiction recovery story or whatever. But but we don't turn people away. April says, "Hey Kimberly, love you, lady. I feel bad for Carla. It's so hard losing a child. I can't even enjoy my own birthday after losing my children." April. So for all of you folks, you have to look forward. I don't have any great insight. I'm just a video guy, but you have to look forward. This is life. This is the life you've got. So you have to look forward. You have to embrace something. Your loved one lost wants you to embrace something. Your loved one's loss, your loved one's lost would be completely furious at you for squandering what you have left. I'm not trying to be mean. You have to recognize the quality within the kids that you've lost, the quality within the hearts of the children that are no longer with you, because you know what their hearts were like. Yeah, Brad. Brad, I know Carla's actually lost 2 kids. I remember. I remember from that first time we met in that church, in that sanctuary. I remember that when I came into the room and Carla was ready to do her interview, she was already seated when I got in the room. And I saw her, and my first thought was, wow, she's gorgeous. And I asked her how she's doing. And very seriously, she looked at me and she said, not good. I remember that so vividly. So, uh, Kristen says, I'm clean off of fentanyl. It took 9 months to wean off out of a detox. After taking the patch fentanyl for 3 years, fentanyl did nothing for my broken bone or fractured bones or rheumatoid arthritis. Well, good job, Kristen. Good place to be out of it. That's awesome. Brad, I lost 3 children and my baby brother, so I can relate. That's right. April can relate. April's story is going to be published soon. Ah, when I say soon, I'm being deliberately vague because that's one of my skill sets. But soon. The next week or two, probably. And speaking of the next week or two, we are about to break 300 stories. We have 12, 14 stories to go to break 300. And we are about to break 200,000 subscribers. I can tell you where we're at on that as well. Right now, we are at 199,938 subscribers. I am elated about that, but I'm not elated because of the exposure for the channel. I'm elated because of the exposure for the stories. These stories merit a lot of attention, so that it makes me very happy. Brad says, so sorry, Angel. We are all here for each other. Yeah, I remember that message from the story, Brad. Rain's dead. I'm done. I do remember that. What a terrible spot to be in. April Smith, Kimberly, everyone reacts differently to different things. What might work for you may not work for someone else, and vice versa. Vice versa. Whatever you're saying there, April. Marijuana helped me get clean off crack. It helped Therese get clean too. Yeah, you guys need to understand. We have a series about cannabis induced psychosis, and the series is about dangers related to cannabis. But just because there's dangers related about something doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that we're just coming out and saying it's dangerous. We're saying there's dangers connected to it and people should be aware. People should be informed and then make their own decisions from an informed perspective, not just from some retarded perspective that's based on what some dude with long hair and tattoos all over his face wearing a faded Nirvana t shirt said is the fact. So, April, Brad is an amazing man. Brad is in Rain's story. You can have a little bit of insight into Brad. The thing, and I remember Rain's story very well, and the thing I remember about Brad more than anything else is him talking about how the dog, Mars, was at the funeral. And we can just leave it there, but I remember that very well. However, holy cow, we have been here for almost 75 minutes of me. What is wrong with you people? All right, so cannabis and psychosis. I really don't know. Being in and out of mental health clinics all of my young adult life. April, you're right. Brad is amazing, but he is also a guitar player, and we girls know how dangerous the boys in the band are. Yeah, yeah. Is he a guitar player or a bass player? Because there is a difference. Holy cow! There's a big difference. Anyway, seriously, Brad's a great guy. But it is time to wrap it up. Brenda, you're hilarious. My son Thomas played guitar. Brad, you're gonna speak. Oh shit, Brad, you're gonna speak at the LVOF rally. Is that what you're talking about, Brad? Seriously, you're gonna speak at the LVOF rally? Buffy pouring something from something, whatever the name was. Are you still here, Brad? Are you gonna speak at the LVOF rally? Because that's kind of brutal. Guys, I'm pretty sure we weren't going to the LVF rally, and now, well, hell, I don't know. feel like we should go now because if I go, then I'll see you speak and I'll have fuel to give you a hard time for a year. And so that'll be awesome, right? Lead guitar. Good job, Brad. Good job. But folks, it is about time to wrap things up for now. And we got closing credits here somewhere that I will queue up and get ready. There we go. And Brenda says, yet again, what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. Thanks for keeping me clean. God bless. God bless you, Brenda. I'm so glad to see you here. And I'm so glad to see that persistent message. That is such an important message. That what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. Praying for. You look at whatever thing that is around you, whatever, look at your circumstance and think of how critical you are of your circumstance, how critical you are of your condition, your place right now, and how bad you think it is. And there's people out there, a lot of people out there who pray for what you take for granted. So thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful for you all being here. So right now our channel is at 199,942 subscribers. If there's anyone in the group who is not a subscriber, please come on. We are so close to breaking 200,000. Kimberly McClay says, "Thank you for giving us a voice for our children." I am I am so grateful to be getting to do this, to be in this position where I get to do this kind of thing that I don't know. I don't know. It's just wonderful. So I'm very grateful to be here. And it is time. It is time. It's time to wrap it up. So thank you all for being here. Really. I am so grateful for you guys to be a part of all this. So I always like to remind you folks, you can always reach out to us. You can always reach out to me. And so you can reach out to me by email at info@texas-pictures.com. You can find me on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse, which was in a graphic with me for almost the entire time that we were live tonight. And you can find us as under our company name, Texas Pictures, also on Facebook, just by looking for the name. We have a TikTok page, channel. I don't really know what you call it, but we're on TikTok as well. You can find us there. And you can also find us on our website. We have a website, texas-pictures.com. And on our website, you can find out more information about how to share your story, about the merchandise that we sell through our store that is listed through Spring T-Shirt Company. And you can learn more about Texas Pictures, the company, and the company's history. And You can find ways to reach out to us there. You can reach out to us by uh, our mailing address. Our mailing address is on our channel. There's a phone number on our channel, not our channel, but on our website. There's a mailing address and a phone number. And there's also other information about how Texas Pictures got started and how we've evolved into where we're at now. And sometime soon, we're probably going to update the website to have some new information. Brad says he loves my shirt. Well, that's cool, Brad. You come to Houston and I'll fix you up with one just like it. But you got to come to Houston. You can bring Carla, or you can bring your shiny new wife, or whatever you want. But come to Houston. It'll be a good time. So very grateful for you guys, and we will talk to you more next time. We will have our next premiere probably on Wednesday. So thank you all very much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Good night, folks.